because your voice matters. From the dailies, the conversation never stops.
All right, studio time check 9:32 on Solutions 939 FM. My name is Adetamola LAFFEY. Thank God it's Friday. That is one day I always look forward to. It's another beautiful Friday in a big and beautiful city of Ibadan. It's from the dailies on Solutions 93.9 FM. This is where we take you through the trending stories in some of today's national dailies. And as usual, I've got a comrade Ayodeji Ajishope already in the Jumate attire this morning. You know, I always like this, your what some of my friends will call a bulky cap.
You know why I use it? It's comfortable, it's convenient. All you have to
I think it's convenient.
you just lift it up and place it on your head. You know, no bending, no styling.
Like our own that you need to just keep in place. And
I just put it. In fact, when I actually want to start sewing our own ofi like this now. You understand? So I just put it on. No bending,
because of the
no
texture,
styling.
it is very thick, so it can stay in place.
You just stay. I don't, and then it's just pragmatic. That's for me.
I like you look like someone from the House of Assembly, National Assembly. All right, it's from the dailies, and let's look at the papers this morning. I've got the Vanguard, I've got the Nigerian Tribune, I've got the Punch newspaper, and of course the Guardian newspaper. Looking at the Vanguard newspaper this morning, the biggest story on the front page says minimum wage disquiet as FG makes selective payment. Wow. Looking at the riders, labor leaders kick, say government insensitive to suffering of workers. Workers lament hardship. Many sleep in offices. Trek to work due to high transport costs. Delay affecting productivity. NAAT. Varsity workers was hit. Sano. Okay, these are some of the stories found on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. We are voting more resources to fight terror, banditry, FG. Soludo is problem, not solution in Anambra, Obiora, Okonkwo. That story is found on page 15 of the Vanguard newspaper. FG denies anti-North bias in distribution of road project. Says North has 52%, South 48%. That story is found on page 32 of the Vanguard newspaper.
We have a major problem there, you know.
What's the problem there?
You see, I would rather think that it is the strategic importance of each road that we should consider.
It shouldn't be the proportion that is the particular portion must go to the north.
What strategic importance is this road to Nigeria? You can say to Nigeria
as a country,
as a country, we as a people, and then you might say, okay, geopolitical zones. You understand? But you see, the way we are going around, you see, that is one other reason why we need to take a look at you know, we've talked about roads now. How can the road in front of us, you know, or from JLN be a federal road? I mean, all that is, and it is being fixed by the state.
Okay, still taking stories from the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. PDP APC protests Rivers LG elections. Court to VIO. This is an interesting one, which I feel all motorists will be happy to see. I was actually happy when I saw this particular story. Court to VIO. Others, you have no power to seize vehicles, impose fines. That story is found on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. And the last one I'll be taking says reps to AGF expedite trials of persons in prolonged detention. That story is found on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. Looking at the Guardian newspaper this morning, it has a kind of a report on the state of the Nigerian teachers, the situation Nigerian teachers have found themselves. Nigerian teachers lured by passion, imperiled by political class, broken system. And
we have never taken teaching a serious business here. Well, you see, we try to evolve, but I ask.
We said we've not taken it as a serious business.
Yes. Professionalism. You see, professionalism. Nigeria Society of Engineers, Nigeria Society of Bankers Institute, and all of that. When did we have? Whereas Nigeria Teachers Institute, my parents were professional teachers, professionals to the core. And I remember my father was a member of some of these commissions and national bodies. But we have not professionalized teaching. I ask people, I come across people, are you happy here? The moment you walk into an office and you ask people, are you happy doing what you are doing? And they say, they're not happy. I'll go and ask teachers. And I go and ask them. And I keep saying this. Teaching is not a job. It's not just another job.
It's a calling.
It is a calling.
It's a
calling. If you're not called to teach, it is. Look, people don't understand what they have as teachers. You are molding lives. You are molding the future. It is what you impart in them. People don't know that.
Comrade, we'll talk about that when we get to the point there. Okay, still talking about the front page, the stories on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. ASU, Nigeria in hopeless state, situation worse than in 1984. Tension as pro-Wike Fubara camps head for climax in Rivers Council polls. Another one says, amid food inflation concerns, NBS claims average LV diets now 1,255 naira. Tinubu submits tax reform bills to National Assembly, may rename FIRS. And the last one I'll be taking here says, your days are numbered, says FG, as bandits dare Tinubu echoes 5,000 man force. Looking at the Nigerian Tribune this morning, senators back bill for South-South Development Commission. Protest in Rivers over LG election. Court bars VIO from confiscating. Let me take that again. Court bars VIO from confiscating vehicles, imposing fines. Still taking stories here. Tinubu to terrorist bandits, surrender or face renewed military onslaught. Poverty, unemployment, contributory causes of insecurity in the Sahel. Abdusalami, multi-dimensional approach needed to address insecurity. Chief of Defense Staff. Moving away from that, Nigeria plunged to hopeless state. ASU, that story is found on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune. Enugu is back to life under Umba Shetima. And moving away from the Nigerian Tribune, let's take a look at the Punch newspaper, which has the stories. Tinubu plans to bar customs, NPA, others from revenue collection. October 1 deadline. Naira for crude deal fails to take off. Iran summons envoys as Israel intensifies Beirut bombing. And another one, talking from Rivers State, Fubara insists on LG poll amid protest by Wike allies. 36 corpses recovered in Niger boat crash. And the biggest story on the front page of the Punch newspaper this Friday morning says, crude for loans. NNPCL votes 8 million barrels monthly for $8.8 billion debt. Report. Meaning we are paying back loans with 8 million barrels of crude oil monthly. Interesting. And heartbreaking too at the
heartbreaking
at the same time.
Well, you recall last week.
If we are using 8 million barrels of crude oil every month to pay back loan, we begin to wonder who initiated that form of agreement or the arrangement for the payment.
We borrowed money now. I think 3 locations. Guardian did a comprehensive report last week on what do you call them? The subsidiaries of NNPC.
Yes, yeah.
They did, I think we borrowed from 3 locations, 3 point something million, a billion rather. You know, the previous government did now, and I think this government too has done one.
Okay, probably
And
we should
we
start.
committed-
Probably we should start from this now.
Yeah.
Now, paying back loans for crude for loans. Now, so far, they've been able to pay $2.61 billion and still owing about $6.25 billion. And another one says, as Nigeria loses 264 million crude barrels to theft.
That thing is
264
not theft,
million barrels.
What theft? 200 and what? Per
64
day.
million barrels
Oh,
monthly.
You see, that thing is not theft. I've had 2 top people, insiders. One who worked in NNPC for 30 years in refining. Is it crude alone that they are stealing? The man told me that one day from Port Harcourt refinery, they pumped 10 million liters of PMS. Only 1 million or 2 million go to Aba.
So where did the
Ambush
remaining
now.
10
Ambush
ambushed by who?
by people. Is it you and I? Do you have the knowledge? It takes knowledge, and then you have to procure the equipment, and then you will need knowledge and expertise. You know, virtually the same thing, and then it will require courage.
Obviously, we can't rule out the connivance.
That is where courage comes in now. DPR, this thing they call midstream regulator, midstream and low downstream regulator now. It used to be DPR, Directorate of Petroleum Resources on Ozumba, by the way. I had a big brother there. So, they were the regulatory agency. I knew even their pipelines. We used to go and, we'll go with that big brother of mine. There were locations offshore, you understand, in villages. Pipelines, NNPC pipelines, as big as this, on the surface. Right on the surface, not under. On the surface.
Which makes it accessible.
So, all you have to do is, the villagers, Nigerians don't have a sense of a stakeholding in Nigeria. They will just ignore you. Just do your thing. Do your thing. If it were a society that will have a sense of stakeholding, that's why you hear people say government property. What's the meaning of government property? It is public property. It is not government property.
Which belongs to you and I.
It belongs to you and I. Because they are procured and maintained with public funds. And whatever is public belongs to you and I. Those guys that you call government are only curators. They are holding office in trust for us. So we have a warped sense of them, us. So we were told that flow stations is a major source of this theft. Who are the people manning flow stations? There are people there, security agents and all of that. And then those who, even the oil companies, it is not just one oil company. A flow station is used by, you put your crude there, everybody puts their crude. It is being manned by people. And they take...
And looking at the large quantity, the enormous quantity of
daily. And
going missing.
And then they say they are stealing. They are not stealing, no. They are sharing you.
Now, this payment, this agreement, this arrangement of crude for loans, how long will it last? For how long? Because if we keep on using 8 million barrels of crude monthly to pay back loans, then when are we going to have enough for the local supply? For local,
is it local supply? Local what about revenue? Because we are borrowing upfront.
That is another one.
Upfront.
Revenue too.
What you are doing is what ought to okay. Let's just use those who earn salary. You earn salary, ₦1 million, and you take a monthly upfront of $500,000. That means what you are taking is $500,000, because the moment you collect your million, $500,000 goes into, and then there will be interest on it. There will be interest too.
Yeah,
there will be services. that maybe that may amount to 80, 70,000. That's a loss on its own. And then you're just in that cycle. By the time that's monthly. By the time you calculate the loss on a yearly basis and all of that, then you know that, we're just, it is very funny. I don't know how we got ourselves into it. But certainly one good reason is lack of planning. Somebody called me to come and, have a conversation on vision and visionary leadership and strategic planning. And I was trying to recall when we were growing up, we had rolling plans. In this country, we had development plans. When last did you hear about rolling plans? There are no plans. We are just doing pay as you go as those networks. Well, okay, even at home, don't you have a vision for your family? Should you have vision?
These loans, who borrowed these loans? NPCL or Nigeria as a country?
Who owns an NPCL? Who owns an NPCL? Ministry of Finance Incorporated and what do they call it? Ministry of Petroleum Resources. Who is the Minister of Petroleum Resources? The President. So who owns those two agencies? Federal government. And you can simply say the President owns them on behalf of Nigerians.
Now, still talking about the oil sector now, there has been, for months now, we've been hearing it in the news that by October 1, there will be Naira for crude deal as regards selling the crude to Dangote refinery at a Naira equivalent. But now, it's saying that October 1 deadline, Naira for crude deal fails to take off. Another promise failing again.
What reason did they give?
No reason was given.
You see, that's what I thought. You see, there's something about plants. You must have noticed me talk about plants. Plants must have timelines, must have timelines, and they signed an agreement, Dangote, and it is only for Dangote. Others are not going to get to. Okay, what is stopping this now? Because this will eventually. The price of crude oil is going up now?
Yeah.
It's climbing. This morning I checked. I think it's $77 Brent, the one we'll do in Nigeria. Sweet crude, one of the best in the world. It is climbing, and it will still climb and that will also affect the price they're going to buy. So expect that price of PMS will go up.
Anytime soon.
They will respond to that. They did not respond to going down. They will respond.
If it goes down, they won't respond to that. But when it climbs up, they will definitely respond to that.
So, why do you have agreement? Because Dangote is a businessman. Whether they give the man crude or not, the man will continue to do.
But I remember even the president himself constituted a particular panel or kind of
Zakadedej is in charge
to see to this taking off on October 1.
Yes.
Whatever led to the failure again.
They sat down, they reached an agreement, they put it in black and white. I do not know why there is no delivery. Is there no crude? Maybe we should start asking questions. Is there no crude to deliver based on ANPC votes 8 million barrels monthly? I mean, that's very serious, 8 million barrels monthly to pay debt. How much do we have?
How much are we even producing?
How much are we producing?
On a daily basis.
It has to be joint venture, because the other ones will just collect tax. Or maybe we even collect crude oil as tax. I don't even know. You can collect crude oil as tax. So if you do 8 million barrels, well, it's not much. Our general production.
Is crude oil production still profitable for Nigeria with the look of things? Is it not time for Nigeria as a country to start looking into other means of generating revenue?
We're generating revenue from other sources. How much do you think crude oil is? The money they share every month, how much did you think is from crude oil? Not much of it.
Okay.
Most of it is coming from Federal Inland Revenue Services.
Okay.
Customs. And one part of it that has gone down is car importation. Car importation has virtually ground to a halt.
I'm glad you mentioned customs. Now, on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning, we have this one saying that Tinubu plans to bar customs, Nigerian Port Authority, others from revenue collection. Now, if they are being barred from collecting revenue, then how do we survive? Well, what other means should Nigeria look into?
Okay. Is customs supposed to be a revenue collecting agency? They are not supposed to be now. They are to assess. Do you understand?
But they are also to collect some import duties and everything on imported stuff.
Their job is basically to assess. Look, their job is to assess. And then you will now forward to those who are in charge of finances. Why should customs be collecting money? Why should they be collecting money? They're not a revenue generator. They're customs services. Assess. This one, they have a list. They have a comprehensive list, and they have rates and all of that. And they have, they collect in dollars now. And they have their exchange rate on an hourly basis or daily basis, as the case may be. So they just, there is assessment. Look, all these things that are enticing and attracting people to such institutions should be taken out. I remember I wanted to join the customs. I went to one former Nigerian leader, and the man told me, said, candidly, he said, if you become successful now, nobody will call you a rogue. Okay, what's your perception of purportedly rich customs officers? You think of them as thieves. Because where did they get money from? Where did they get money? I've operated around them. There was a time I used to go to Narco Shed. In one customs guy way back in the 80s told me that if he was sick in hospital, on Friday, he would ask to be moved to the office on Friday afternoon, because that's when they share money. That is the central money. That was the other ones they talk into their socks, collect and quickly pocket. This central pool, that is when they share. He said if you were hospitalized, critically ill, you will ask to be moved to the office.
Now, if the president eventually bars customs, NPA, others from revenue collection, or what benefit will it be to Nigerians, especially those that are
the important thing is centralized revenue. Real time, you are monitoring. Where is this money from? So cargo. Because you have to match. You have to match. Because you have to match. What is the assessment? How much is the assessment they did? Because I can do assessment. You understand? I'm not going to collect revenue. So I can under assess. I can undervalue, so that you give me some change. So those who are even collecting, they know what they are assessing. So they will know, does the assessment match the revenue that is coming in? You understand? So those ones will just be seeing, they will not touch money. They will just be seeing money real time. And then when all of that is centralized, government can, maybe you have heard of government agencies.
Now my question is, of what benefit will it be to the masses, to Nigerians now?
It now depends on the masses. If people want to track revenue, the money, the government can monitor real time. Not that those agencies will now be remitting money as they like, or making, or saying, this is how much we generated. You understand?
No, what I'm saying in essence is, I know some automobile dealers now, auto dealers, they will tell you that the cars are expensive because of the huge amount they have to pay.
It is determined by,
now, if this has been removed, if the president successfully bars the customs and the NPA, others from revenue collection, will that have a kind of relief?
There's no relief now. The rates will still remain the same thing, unless they change the tariff. That will not affect. It will still be the same tariff now. It is only that customs will not be collecting money.
Okay.
They will not be collecting revenue.
Okay.
Under assessing and all of that, and collecting some into their pockets, they will not be doing that. Revenue collection, there should not. They should not be revenue collection agency now. You go and pay and show evidence that you have paid.
Okay, now I get the clarification now.
You immigration. What's immigration collecting money for passport for? Eh? You go and pay and show evidence that you are paid. That's it.
All right, another one talking about the bar.
Maybe there is this one that this thing will do. Is it Lamata or Namata or something? It's a central revenue collection agency. The one they call, I've forgotten the name now. You go and pay anything, some federal things you want to do in bank. You go and pay to the bank and go and show evidence, even state.
Okay, I have another interesting story here. It is virtually on all the papers this morning. And let me try to look it up here. Okay, now court bars VIO from confiscating vehicles, imposing fines. I'm trying to read the body of the story itself. Let me see if I can still get a grab of. Okay, now, okay, I think I've seen it. Now, okay. I'm trying to flip through. Okay, now, court bars VIO from stopping impounding vehicles. Reading through the story, Justice Evelyn Maha of a Federal High Court in Abuja has issued an order restraining the Directorate of the Road Traffic Services, commonly known as the Vehicle Inspection Office, from stopping, impounding, or confiscating vehicles on the roads. The court also barred the Road Traffic Services from imposing fines on motorists. The judgment, delivered on October 2 by Justice Maha, stemmed from the fundamental right enforcement suit filed by human rights activist and public interest attorney Abubakar Marshall. Okay, now, is this a good one?
You see, I found out that was even a discussion on my way to work this morning. There are two things. Nigerians don't know they have, most Nigerians don't think they have rights. In this part, I don't know about other cultures. You hear people saying Agbe Fobaki Jebi, which in essence means government or its agents can never be in the wrong. I will never understand that. And then when Nigerians even know their rights, they are not ready to pursue it. Look, a man is driving a commercial vehicle. He has all the papers. But one of these agencies will stop him. And then it is the passengers who say, give him what they want, let's go. What kind of a people are we? You see, when we were growing up, VIO, I'm not sure whether I remember correctly, LAFFEY, they had, we never saw them on the, okay, look at even their name. Vehicle Inspection Officers. What are you inspecting? Me, I'm setting up. I have where I'm leaving my home. I know my journey to my office would take me 40 minutes. I give it an additional 20 minutes just in case. And then you now cause traffic. That's the very first thing. You now cause a traffic build up in the morning when people are going to work. In the morning, 7 a.m. they are there. And then you start stopping people. And then you now stop me. You say I should bring my fire extinguisher. You want to check my... All deliberately aimed at frustrating me. You want to trigger something. And then you now say you don't have this, you don't have that. They are called vehicle inspection officers. They had offices where they will inspect. And you see all these inspections, you see, okay, do they do mechanical inspection? Do they do electrical inspection? It is in the offices that used to do these things.
Not on the road.
And then you are assessed after the inspection. They give you a clean bill of health, or you say you are lacking in this. That is why you will not. It should be insane. When you have, do you know that now when you go to where you collect your vehicle papers, they give you. I have one on the screen of my car without any inspection. They will just pay and collect it, clearance that you have been inspected. You just pay. So it is just for revenue generation. You understand? They just clear you. All you need to do is pay. And you know the big problem? I'm not saying it has not affected private car owners, but come on, let's take a look at the commercial vehicles. I don't see those vehicles coming to Molete anymore. I think
They also impound they also impound private vehicle owners too. I mean, private vehicles too.
have you seen them impound commercial vehicles? I mean, the commercial vehicles intra city. Have you seen them impounded? They don't, because there's a working arrangement between the union and them. You will never see them.
There is a cordial relationship.
Working arrangement, yes, that borders on working relationship between them. So you will never see them stop them. The only commercial vehicles, commercial in code, you see them stop is I own a mini truck, that shifts my stuff for me. I go and get a supply. I want to go and supply. Those are the commercial ones that they stop. They don't stop painted caps. One day, they stopped one Okada. I was in Bodija, Ojuri, and they stopped one Okada. And I said, why did you stop this man? So, because sometimes it was obvious they wanted to oppress, just harass the guy. And I said, why did you stop him? Even the guy that stopped him, did you know what he said? He said, emission. I said, what did you say? He couldn't pronounce, what he was told.
You mean the officer?
So he now gave me a card. I said, you are stopping this Okada, brand new Okada, for emission. Yes, there will be emission. But emission, I don't understand. Did you educate them? You understand? Before prohibition, there must be some. Did you educate them? Emission, Minister of Environment. You want to? I don't understand all this, but they just want to collect money from those people. You see, if people will challenge them, I've always said, I'm not going to step. I'm not going to be on the wrong side of the law, because if you are walking on the wrong side of the law and you are apprehended, you are on your own. I will not tread on the law. I will not walk on the wrong side of the law. So, if anybody wants to, mess around with my rights, I would challenge them.
Obviously, this is a very good one.
It is a very good. Look, there was one in Benin.
It's a very good one.
There was another one some years ago in Benin about Federal Road Safety Corps. I know somebody that goes around with that judgment. In moment there road safety stuff.
Probably I should read the judgment to the listeners now, so you know that it is unlawful for the VIO agents to stop you on the roads.
They now say the question is, it's a federal high court. Does the Abuja judgment, does it apply nationwide?
Okay, maybe they will have to appeal this. But so far, at the moment, the court in its judgment issued a restraining order against the respondents, preventing them and their agents from impounding or confiscating vehicles or imposing fines, labeling such action as wrongful, oppressive, and unlawful.
And she went ahead to say only courts of competent jurisdiction. How can you be the accuser and then you are going to be the judge, and then you are the one that
I think it's a very good one. It's a very good one.
But are Nigerians going to, demand that their rights be, honored?
I think if they know that, okay, it's unlawful, it is oppressive for such to happen to them, they will be able to say, oh, I'm even sure the VIO will do the needful.
One day in Bodija, my wife and I
think it was the one they called Maja Maja.
No, it used to be road safety. Road safety started in Oyo State.
Yes.
Before they went national. That was when they called, because I think it was a greyhound dog that was their symbol.
Oh, okay.
Major Adeleke, before Kongi Wole Soyinka was a marshal, but I think it was Major Adeleke that was the head of because I think he specialized in transport stuff. They were the Maja, and they were very, very effective. They were very, very effective.
Okay, let's move away from that. It's 5 minutes past 10 on Solutions 93.9 FM, and we're doing from the dailies, taking a look at the trending stories in some of today's national dailies. Another trending story on the Vanguard newspaper this morning is about the minimum wage. Disquiet as FG makes selective payment. Now, this is a good one, because we were told that the president and the commander-in-chief of the armed forces had approved the payment of 70,000 naira minimum wage. But the September salaries that were paid, federal workers are coming out to say that there were selective payment.
When last week the word filtered out, you have, so you will give it benefit of doubt. And when I now saw it in the news yesterday, I was amused. I mean, how does that happen? You understand? How does that happen? But that means, you see, we have to understand whether money has not been released to all ministries, departments, and agencies, and it is those who have it, or it was sheer mischief. But let me tell you, they are going to pay. They are going to pay.
When?
They will pay. Now, government has committed itself. That one is even an issue already, because the last, the last act on minimum wage lapsed in April. You understand? So the new minimum wage, the new payment ought to have been effective May. But the government has decided that the law is effective July. They have outsmarted labor. They said the law is effective July. As it is signed, that's what government said, though. That's what the National Assembly said. The law is effective July. Labor is saying the last minimum wage bill lapsed in April, so it must be effective May.
Now, looking at the riders now, labor leaders say government insensitive to suffering of workers. And another rider says workers lament hardship. Many sleep in offices, trek to work due to high transport costs. Now, do we say the government is not doing enough, to reduce the sufferings of the workers with this selective payment?
Well, you see, government
is it not supposed to go across board?
Look, government will pay. They cannot escape it. Even government has come out to say effective date is July. You understand? Those who got their pay, it was September pay they got. Did they say they got arrears?
No, they didn't.
Government will pay. They will pay the arrears. There is even a battle ahead. I suspect Labour is charting its course, how they're going to get the arrears from May. That's another challenge on its own. Because the argument of Labour is that the last act lapsed in April, and government is saying the new act is effective July. That's an argument of that. The government will pay. Well, for me, if my arrears piles up for 4, 3, 5, 6 months, government will pay. That you can be rest assured. Government will pay.
Okay.
But it is not nice to have selective payment. It's not nice.
Okay. I hope that that will be looked into and the needful will be done. Let's go to Rivers State now. Tomorrow, there will be local government elections in Rivers State.
Are you sure?
Well, the governor said that no matter, against all odds, the election will hold. Let's take a listen at what Simi Fubara, the governor of Rivers State, had to say.
Local government election is about the states. I might not be a lawyer, but at least I understand that it has nothing to do with any federal agency. It's a state matter. And thirdly, the beginning of this process to the end is between our own. It has nothing to do with any federal judicial institution. So we should understand this fact and play according to the rules. Now the second part of it is we need to go out there and tell the world that we don't hire people from OBZ to come and protest. We bring people from the boundary between Imo and Omainoma. Just to call name. We also bring people from the boundary near Akwa so that they enter Ghana and come and protest the people that are going to participate in this election. The numbers that we are going to record are the real indigents of the state.
Semi Fubara there, the governor of Rivers State, talking about the local government election against all odds that will come up tomorrow. I read somewhere that the Nigeria police has withdrawn all its officers from participating in that election, and that was why he said he needs no federal agent to be to conduct that election. It's strictly about the Rivers people. What do you make out of that? Judging by the protest from the PDP, APC in the last few days.
You see, the damage that military interregnum did to our society in terms of our psyche is enormous. Okay, they want to hold local government election, and then somebody goes to a federal high court that they must not hold, and a judge sits down there and make pronouncements.
And INEC has refused to release the voter register too till now. So what will the Rivers Independence electoral, what was the name there, will use to conduct this election?
They say they have the register. The man in charge says he has the register.
He has a register to use.
The register of INEC. He said he had gotten the register. So, you see, the military, because their lack of knowledge of governance, you see, the military is like a pyramid. And you give order from the top and it must cascade down. In Nigeria, we had different forms of local government. In the north, it was different. Just like when the colonial masters were here, they did indirect rule in the north because the cultural environment was conducive for it. They did direct rule here and in the east. You understand? Because that was what was good for them, or was good for the Europeans. In 1976, the military generally thought they could decree unity. In 1976, they made local government uniform. Babangida advanced it and even turned it into presidential local government. Even the chairman has chief of staff. He has a PA. He has assembly. They have majority leader. They have minority leader. Not bad, but let the control be either to the local government or to the states. You understand? If the local governments are going to be independent, and then the state, but the constitution says that the state assembly must prescribe how local governments will operate, laws and all of that. What is then the business of INEC? What is then the business of police? I felt insulted when I read police report that they have received instructions from INEC that they should not
participate.
Now, if we had state police, if we had local police, Shebi is to safeguard and to secure lives and property. That is basically the role of the police. If local police were there, they will secure in their own locality. And if state was there, they will have their own, it will be for state infrastructure and state functions. You understand? So this is our democracy. and presidential system that we operate, it is warped. It is so convoluted. Courts, federal high courts, giving orders, and then state high court giving orders. I keep saying it. When we're talking about restructuring, people think it's about political restructuring. It goes way beyond that. We have to restructure the political arrangement. We have to restructure the judicial arrangement. We have to restructure the security arrangement, the one people love to call security architecture. So much to reconstruct and to reconfigure. But you see, the beneficiaries, elder statesman Dr. Imfarumbi said it here, the beneficiaries of the current configuration will not let go. But the question is, in whose interest? In whose interest? Leaders think about the future. Politicians think about the next election. But Fubara is ready to go. Fubara will hold the election. I want to put the hold in quote. And I want to see. Fubara is daring them. I like that.
Yeah. He's actually daring
So
them.
let the police come out and say, you cannot hold the election. Or disrupt things. You understand? Let's see. Let us see. People should start asking questions, police. And it is clear that these things are believed, perception, to be instigated by Wike.
Definitely, I was going to say that.
That is what the people believe.
Saying that probably Wike is using the federal might now to oppress.
That issue of
Fubara's,
federal might has been around since the late 70s, since the Second Republic. Federal might. What's the meaning of federal might? There won't be any federation without a federating unit. You understand? We were talking here on Wednesday. I was saying, when did you see Bolaige? When Shagari was in Dodan Barracks. When did you see Bolaige going to Lagos? Even the Lagos state governor. When did he see the president? They were residing in Lagos together. You understand? When did you see Bolaige as governor? When did you see his picture and Shagari together? Except probably when they were not even holding Federal Executive Council meeting there, no. Or were they holding fake? Oh, they will hold their fake. Were they holding National Economic Council meeting and all of that? No. Everybody minded their own business and governed their own states. But I believe that democracy is not an event. We are going to be evolving. A generation of people. I believe that it will take a generation to turn Nigeria around. But maybe soon, maybe even out of these ruins will emerge some people that will say, look, let's do the right thing. Because the political elite or the elite is usually responsible for charting the course the nation will go. What is our elite doing in this regard?
All right, as we wrap up on today's edition from the dailies, let's take a look at that story we read from the Guardian newspaper talking about the state of the Nigerian teachers. Nigerian teachers lured by passion, imperiled by political class, broken system. I mean, looking at and there's a picture, there's a form of cartoon on the front page of the Guardian paper, and there is a teacher there writing on the board, addressing his students, saying that, would you like to become a teacher? And obviously everyone in that class said no. And one person said, politics is more lucrative than being a teacher.
You see?
So over the years, that profession has been degraded in court, that it makes it very hard for the younger generation to even aspire to be a teacher.
It is. Let me make it clear that the role of teachers is not just coming under siege and assault. It is not a Nigerian thing. It is becoming a global thing, but for different reasons. In the United States now, for instance, there is a report that artificial intelligence is putting the job and the position of teachers at risk. But you know that's due to advancement. But here, the problem is people who are not teachers, people who are respected, teachers who are noble, teachers who are respected, they were loved. Teachers were loved. Teachers were respected. They were only next in hierarchy to rulers, traditional institutions, teachers.
In those days.
Yes, my parents were teachers, and of course, teachers that rose to the highest level of the profession. I remember that my father was a principal, and the Timiovede, of course, the very prominent one, the one that did. I mean, consulted my father regularly. My father was a regular visitor to the palace. My father was, shaped the life of quite a number of his children, and in appreciation, my father was given a title, a traditional title in that time when he was departing, and teachers were revered, they were respected. You understand? It wasn't that they earned so much, but they earned enough. You understand? They were respected, they were honored. But you see, teachers there, they worked. Teachers worked. Teachers, most of the people that taught, they were in the job because they wanted to be there. Those who did not want to be there left, transitioned to other things. Those who wanted to stay there, Look, when people are saying, I have teachers, I'm close to that. So when I get to that, say, are you enjoying what you're doing here? The moment you hesitate, anywhere you're working, the moment you say, you think before you respond, you are not enjoying what you do. But I think it's simply because people do not understand what teaching imposes on them as challenges, but also as opportunities. When you're in a class of 25 children, at whatever level, I won't never forget some of my teachers. I'm sure every student will remember.
Yeah, definitely. I still
for
remember
good, and I mean for good.
I still remember some of my teachers
For
too
good.
that I can never forget.
For good.
For good, yes.
Yeah. I remember the man that taught us history, Mr. Yogushe, in class 1. And those who teach history, you just have to love the subject because you cannot get it across if you don't love it. They just flow. And the way you get enticed, and so teaching is not a job. Teaching is a profession at worst. But if you want to put it where it belongs, it is a calling.
It is a calling, yeah.
So that when you see it as a calling, that is when you will go beyond the call of duty. Look at Lagos State. Lagos State rewards. I thought GT2 was doing it at the time, but Lagos do it regularly. And Lagos rewards teachers, and they assess them. They have a way, a criteria, a way of assessing them. Look, if you love what you do, if you see it as an opportunity to impart knowledge, and shape the future. The people my parents taught, I remember one, anywhere, a diplomat, anywhere, every year he comes home. As soon as he landed in Nigeria, he came to my parents. Even after my father passed away, posthumous award, after they are taking care of him where he was around. How much did they earn? But there was stability, you understand? Public schools was available to us, their children. But even now, you see, if you go beyond the call of duty and put in your very best, no matter where you're working, no matter how high up, no matter how lowly in quote it may look, you will be noticed.
Yes, I know that. Now, let's talk about the profession now, teaching as a profession now. I know that these days, most people, most people that we have in the teaching profession, especially the younger ones now, are there not because they wanted to be teachers, but because they couldn't find a job, or so they had to opt for teaching. But those that are still in teaching profession with so much passion, is the government doing enough to better their lives?
You see, if
I have a teacher and my teacher I know is passionate about his job and everything, and I can see some things that make me, as a younger person, to want to be a teacher like him. Maybe he's living good, he's very good at what he's teaching, he's passionate about it, and I want because he drives good car. He doesn't look tattered.
yeah,
Like the teacher that we are seeing on the front page of the Guardian newspaper now.
Let me for teaching, for instance, when you are very good, passionate, committed, number first thing is that you are going to deepen your knowledge about what you do. You understand? And that means you are going to equip yourself, number one, with skills, with knowledge of what obtains anywhere, everywhere else. And by that, you can even, you understand, even if you are still within the system, you can do better, you understand, than the people you are operating in the same environment with. You will certainly do better. I mean, have you not seen parents? Parents, serious parents will interact with some of their teachers. You identify and then call them, one or two or so, three of them. How is my child doing? Put an eye on them. And when you notice, they will call some parents together. Let's get. I've noticed some of these teachers. Let's get them together and organize a coaching class. It may even be because they have seen assets in them. You understand? And they will be willing to pay them. They will just identify, okay, get some of the people that are as good as you are. Get them together. You understand? When they start that is the beginning. That is the beginning of something greater than what they're doing. Of course, they will still be doing their job, but that will earn them some extra pay. You understand? And that will earn them exposure. So from there, they can advance themselves. But how many people are committed? How many people are happy waking up to go and be a teacher in the morning? There are schools that pay very well. I know one guy who got the first class in mathematics.
I think it's not about the payment now. I was a teacher. And I loved, and I still love.
I love teaching.
I love teaching so much.
All I just desire to do is get a doctor of philosophy and teach. I will say teach.
Now, to the teachers out there, because tomorrow, the 5th of October, will be the World Teachers Day, and it's been celebrated annually. So what will be your word for teachers across board? Talking about teachers, maybe the nursery and primary schools, the secondary, the university teachers in general.
Teaching is not just a joke. It's no joke. It's a huge responsibility that you have at any location, whether be it crèche, be it kindergarten, be it primary school, be it junior school. You have a huge responsibility of shaping not just the future of individuals.
They are life molders.
They're life molders. And when you mold and shape lives, individual lives, you are shaping the future of nations. When I was, time is up.
No, go ahead.
When I was growing up, like we just shared, I remember some of my teachers. I remember a particular man that taught us European history in university. I remember the particular man that taught me history. This was some of course, my influence for my first degrees in political science and history. This was some of the influences, you understand, that turned me in that direction. And teachers are powerful instruments. But, we have Teachers Registration Council. Teachers the profession, it should be fully professionalized. If you do not have this, you cannot practice. If you do not attend law school, you cannot practice even if you have an LLB. You understand? You must be a member of the Nigerian Society of Engineers to access certain privileges. You know, you must be this, you must be that. The town planners, everybody, they're organizing themselves. Teachers Registration Council, yes. I mean, is the regulation being effectively done? People don't have, I have a first degree in economics. Does that mean I can teach? Does that mean I know?
But in reality, we have many people opting for teaching because they couldn't get a job.
Yes.
Now, if that thing you're talking about is being enforced, is it not going to be like depriving people their means of
Teaching
livelihood?
is a profession. If you are going to get into that profession, or you got into that profession and you want to stay in that profession, do the needful. You know, you could not teach before unless you did a postgraduate diploma in education. You understand? If you do not have a bachelor's degree in education, you must do a postgraduate degree in education. You cannot even become some that I knew of. I do not know what obtains now. How are you going to do it if you do not have the requisite knowledge? See, I mean, you need knowledge now. Okay, you don't have knowledge. They put you in this place, in this studio. What are you going to do? Or what are you going to say? So knowledge. If you say this is what I want to do, okay, but now this is where your work is available. Maybe you are going to get paid. You understand? For God's sake, raise the bar for yourself in your own interest. It is very important.
Okay, Comrade Ayodeji Ajokwe, thank you very much for coming, being on the program this morning.
My pleasure always, comrade brother.
Okay, we'll be together on Monday morning.
By God's grace.
The next edition will be on Monday morning. Thank you very much once again. And like I always ask you every Friday like this, what are your plans for the weekend?
Yes, Friday. Nothing much this weekend. Yes, I owe a big brother a visit.
Okay.
I know his Fridays are usually relaxed, so I catch him by noon or 1 p.m., you know. So, and from there, we'll see how it goes.
Okay, like I said earlier on, it's Friday is a day I always look forward to because that's the time I always look forward for the weekend because that's the time I always get to have a quality
time with
to
family.
Rest. Yes, with family and friends. You know, the nature of our job, you know now.
Yeah.
The show must go on.
The show must go on, certainly.
All right, that's the wrap for today. We're back again on Monday morning for a fresh edition of From the Daily Zone Solutions, 93.9 FM. My name is Ade Damola LAFFEY, wishing every one of us a splendid weekend. Good morning.
Do not touch that dial. You know the radio you tune to, it's your remedy dial, 93.9 Solutions FM. Your number one remedy dial.
Yo, what's up?
Do not touch that dial. You know the radio you tune to, it's your remedy dial, 93.9 Solutions FM. Your number one remedy dial.
ẹ̀gbọ́n bó ṣe ń jálálá ó ń dùn yùngbàyùngbà ó ń wọnú kọ̀kọ̀ǹgọ́ sí ẹran ara lọ. Solutions 93.9 FM ilé àwẹ̀ ní òkè àdó Ìbàdàn àwa lọ́nà àbáyọ.
Àwùsùbíláì mínà ṣọ ìtọ́ ni rọ̀jìn Báríkà Jímọ̀ lọ́jọ́ ńlá ọjọ́ Jímọ̀ níkànnì Solutions 93.9 FM lọ́jọ́ Jímọ̀ ó yá ẹja lọ kírun Jímọ̀.
Àkímùsàlà bísímìlà.
Ètò Báríkà Jímọ̀ ní nǹkanì nípa ẹ̀sìn àṣelà ẹ̀sìn mùsùlùmí àti gbogbo àwọn ẹ̀kọ́ tó rọ̀ mọ́. Tó Báríkà Jímọ̀ ó kún fún oríṣiríṣi àwọn ìpele lọ́lọ́kanjọ̀kan. Ìpele ẹgbàwọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ Nábì Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, ìpele ọ̀rọ̀ ṣítí, ìpele kíkí Al-Qur'an alápọ̀nlé àti abala ohun tó lẹ́tọ̀ọ́ láti ṣe nínú Islam tó jẹ́ halal Islamic remedy. Ẹ pàdé àfọ́ ọmọ àfà Abbas Ìṣọ̀lá ní gbogbo ọjọ́ Ẹtì Jímọ̀ láago 11 àárọ̀ títí dàago 12 lórí ìkànnì Solutions 93.9 FM Báríkà Jímọ̀ fún gbogbo mùsùlùmí òun mùsùlùmí.